Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of my show, William Wallace for America. Today, you're going to notice that we're filming a different location. Behind me is the House lobby. This is where a lot of people meet and wait before they go in. And with me today, I grabbed State Representative Roy Adams. He is District 62. Thank you so much for coming on with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here, and thanks for letting me be part of your show. I'm State Representative Roy Daryl Adams, District 62, which encompasses East and West Feliciana and part of East Baton Rouge.
I love that. Not too far from here.
That's right.
You don't have a long way to travel.
No, 30 minutes.
So what actually makes up your district? Where is your, we know we're in District 23, but East Feliciana, but what makes up your district? What cities and boundaries and rivers and stuff like that?
West Feliciana, we go over to the Mississippi River, and then we go up to the Mississippi line.
Okay.
And the biggest, or the town over there is St. Francisville. And then they have some smaller towns. I do not have Angola or Tunica. That goes to Jeremy Lacombe.
Okay.
He has that part of it. And then I have East Feliciana, which I have Jackson, Clinton, St. Francis, Jackson, Clinton, Slaughter, Wilson, Norwood. And it borders East Feliciana and West Feliciana border at Thompson Creek. Then I go up to the Mississippi line again, and I go over to St. Helena, the parish line. Then I come back to East Baton Rouge, and I have part of Zachary, which is Highway 64. The school's on Highway 64 in Zachary High. Okay. I have everything north of the high school.
That's quite an area.
Oh yes.
I guess it's a lot of rural area.
Yes,
then.
yes.
What makes up your district? Is it just mostly residential? Is it farm? Are there chemical plants? What's kind of the biggest things in that area?
Our biggest thing in my district is state facilities. We have Dixon Correctional Institution. We have East Louisiana State Mental Hospital. We have Forensic and the War Veterans Home, which are all located in Jackson, Louisiana, East Feliciana. And then in West Feliciana, we have the state prison, which is Angola. And then they have the paper mill over there and the nuclear plant.
I thought Angola was further out there. You don't realize how close it is to Baton Rouge, I guess.
Yes. It's probably an hour and a half to Baton Rouge. When you turn down the Angola Road, it takes about 40 minutes to get to Angola's front gates.
Okay. Didn't realize it was that close in here. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I like doing these videos here. It gives all these little nuggets of information, for people to understand not only their state rep, but, where they're from and that little area. It's like all these unique areas of Louisiana that people don't realize are there and what's in them. It makes it neat there. Yeah. So what is your background before you ran for state rep? Well, I like to say this is a full-time job with part-time pay, but it's supposed to be. So you do something else. What do you do besides that?
First off, I'm a family guy. I have a wife, been married 42 years. I have 4 great kids. I'm in the family business. We had a family grocery store, and I'm the 3rd generation there.
Oh, nice.
I have my second son that's coming along, and he'll be the 4th generation. So this small town, we have a little, when I say store, it's a country store. We sell clothes, we sell dog food, we sell cow feed.
Where is this anyway?
In Jackson, Louisiana.
Okay, what's the name of it?
Adams Enterprises.
Okay, because next time I'm out that way, I want to go check it out.
But if you come by, we have everything. We call it the Country Walmart.
Okay, I like this. Okay, and I love those little stores like that. I mean, that gives you a sense of community. If you've been in the community for 3 generations, your son's going into the same business, it means you have a good sense of not only community, but of the people who live there. So you kind of have their ear. I guess maybe that might have something to do with why you ran for office.
It does. Kenny Havert had this seat before me. He ran for parish president of West Feliciana and won. And when he won, he came by the store and he said, "Why don't you run, Daryl?" My name's Roy Daryl. Some call me Daryl, some call me Roy. I don't know why. I had an uncle when I was growing up. His name was Roy, so my parents called me Daryl. My older sister married a guy named Daryl. And my Uncle Roy kind of quit coming around, so they called me Roy. So anyway.
Look, I get that with the nicknames too. My name is William Wallace, but I get called a lot of other things.
but anyway, and Kenny asked me, and I said, Kenny, man, and look, we've been in the community. My mom was Justice of the Peace for 30 plus years. My dad never ran for any office, but he could reach out to somebody, the mayor. He could reach out to the sheriff to help somebody.
Yeah.
So we've done that all our life. And Kenny said, "Why don't you think about it?" Well, I went home and I prayed and I prayed. And the next day when I went to the store, we opened at 6. I'm there, feet on the ground, and the phone started ringing. People come in the store and they say, "We hear you gonna run. Great. Are you gonna run?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna run." And
there you have it.
That's it. That's how I got in.
Sometimes you pray for an answer and you get the answer. Sometimes you get it in ways you don't really expect.
That's it. And I tell people, I mean, they know me. I said, I'm not going to be any different if I win than I am right now. I'm me. You know, and I'm not up here on no ladder. And y'all don't put me on the ladder.
Well, one thing I've noticed about you working in the legislature, you know, and I watch, I see who you're talking to. I see, you know, you're just as down the earth off camera as you are on camera, you know, and being involved in everything. So speaking about being involved, this is a fiscal session going on right now. We're about halfway through, so in the beginning of the session, I was asking the legislators about their legislation. But at this point, some bills have it, some haven't got out of committee.
Yeah.
Where are your bills right now? What are your bills that you're focusing on, you know, that don't involve fiscal? But then we want to talk about fiscal too here in a second.
I ran 5 bills and I got them all out of the House.
Okay.
We're waiting on the Senate side. Did 2 over there. My first bill was the license plates for West Feliciana High School. They want to do a license plate. It generates a little money. It's just a little fundraising, but it's community pride more than the money.
I love that.
And so they wanted the community pride. West Feliciana is the number 3, number 4 school in the state, and they just want community pride.
I like that.
Yes, and I did 2 bills for Zachary. One for a member of the council that, not the council, but the mayor appoints him, that he doesn't have to live in the city limits, so it was a local bill.
Right.
I did one for the city of Zachary firefighters, that they could, the time doesn't start, their retirement time doesn't start while they're in the academy. They wanted it to start once they got through with the academy and went to work. Ran it, both of them, all 3 of those are moving forward.
Sometimes that 1 month or 2 months make all the difference in the world when
does.
somebody has served the community for a long time,
That's it.
You know, and they want to retire, right?
I ran one for the state police. They want to be able to buy airtime, they call it. All other departments, corrections and all they can buy up to 5 years towards their retirement and retire with 20 years actual work, but they'll have 25 if they buy 25 years. So they ran that for the state police. And the other one was firefighters, that if a fire person, woman, man, whoever was the firefighter, died in the line of duty or died, just death, the benefits, if they had a handicapped kid, would go to that kid with somebody to oversee it. You know.
I gotcha.
And
so this, again, just caring for people who are serving our community.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen other similar bills like that. You know, Tim McKerner had one for the firefighters also. You know, and they're the people we have to take care of.
That's right.
You know, and when you look at the legislation, you know, it looks like whether people agree or disagree with it, you know, at least people can look at you and say, hey, that's something that comes from the heart.
Yeah.
You know, whether they like it or not, it comes from the heart.
And that's what it's about. Let's do the right thing.
Yeah. You know, and the good thing is sometimes you don't get your legislation, but at least the conversation gets had.
Gets started.
And I like to make that point too, because you know, maybe sometimes we don't get their legislation through now, but when you start paving that ground, you know, not only does it show you what's in your heart, but it shows things that we need to do for other people in our community.
Yes.
I like that. So on a fiscal level, what's the most important piece of legislation that you think that the state's facing fiscally right now, legislation-wise?
Legislation-wise? Me personally, it's going to be my state facilities.
Okay.
I have so many of them, and all of them are hurting for money. But the federal government gave the state of Louisiana $1.6 billion in the American Care Acts.
Okay.
And so everybody's whole as far as my, state facilities.
Right.
But we just got to make sure they stay that way. My sheriffs need more money for inmates, daily care of the inmates. And we have a bill going through to give them a little extra money.
What bill is that?
It's in
It's a
House Bill 1. The governor's house.
Okay.
And it's an increase.
So this money that goes to these facilities, I'm just curious, is that going to be one-time expenses, or will it go back into recurring expenses?
It'd be a one-time expense because we have it, and hopefully by next year the economy's up, everybody's starting to go again. I don't know if we get the CARES Act or American Recovery money again.
Right.
Next year.
So, but once it's set up, it won't be taken away.
Yeah, no.
So if the CARES Act doesn't come back through, then that means that the state will have to pay for it in the future?
Yes.
On recurring expense? Okay.
Yes.
I just understand. Yeah, there's a lot of talk right now about whether people want recurring expenses or one time for this COVID money.
Yeah.
They want to use for recurring expenses or to create another program. So that's an interesting way to put it. I'm glad you talked about that.
And we held $800 million. It's $1.6 million. We spent $800 million, and we held $800 million. We, the state, to see what further guidelines the federal government was going to give us before we spent all that.
Okay.
So it's kind of, I'm going to say, in a savings account right now, and we will use it eventually.
Yeah, so some of the money is being used right away, some of it they're putting in a little savings account. Okay. Well, hopefully not one of the safe deposit boxes that gets forgotten about or locked up and we can never use it, for anything else.
The key's gone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, sometimes it's good when the key is gone, but sometimes when you got money just sitting there that you can't use and the state's hurting for something else,
you need it.
You need it.
Yeah.
But I like to support the idea of this COVID money coming in being used for one-time expenses.
Yes.
But I can certainly understand if there's a path to set a program up that might not be for one-time expenses, but there's a way to fund it later without in tax increases.
Yes.
Or without harming another department, or finding some legislation that basically puts a limit on how much could be. I like limits on spending and less taxes and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, a lot less taxes. Yes.
On that. Yes. What other any other legislation that maybe you're looking at that might not be fiscal that other people are working on, any friends or whatever? You think is important?
State employees are raised. We got a bill going through, and I don't know the name, but it's 2 to 4% pay raise for state employees. Depends on where you're at in the salary.
Right.
If you make less, you get the 4. If you make more, you get the 2%. Something for our retired teachers, our retirees, and not just teachers, but state workers, teachers, any retiree. Yeah. They need a bonus or a raise. They hadn't had one in many years.
Now, is that the one that puts $120 million back on the budget side of the budget?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I don't have. Look, it's funny because I don't have to get to know all the answers, but I'll know of some of the answers, and then likewise, I know with the legislator, there's how many bills are going through right now this session? Do you know offhand? I know it's hundreds.
Yeah, I'd say close to 1,000, if not. Right at it.
So it's hard for you to keep up with every single one, all the details, because they change on a regular basis.
Because amendments on top of amendments.
Exactly.
Just because it says this, sometimes it doesn't mean that when you read through the amendments.
I've watched this. I mean, like if you go on legis.la.gov, and you look at these bills, you can see the strike-throughs of what was taken out. You can see the amendments that were added.
Yeah.
So a bill that you might write today, by the time it goes out of the House committee, goes to the floor, amendments are added there, goes to the Senate side, gets amendments there, goes to the Senate floor, gets amendments added, and then comes back before it goes to the governor's desk. It could be a totally different animal.
That's right. You don't even know what you got.
How do you preserve the spirit of your bill when that happens? Do you think, is there at any point, now sometimes I like to get out like little nuggets of information so people can learn the process, and I just thought of this question. At any point, by the time it leaves here and comes back over here before it goes to the governor's desk, can you pull it anytime you want?
You can pull it when it comes. If it comes back over here to the House with amendments, you can say I reject the amendments. Then you can go in committee and try to work out with the Senate and the House or the author of the bill.
Right.
I think it's 6 House members and it'd be 6 Senate members would meet to work it out.
Okay. To
maybe pull the amendment, maybe water the amendment down more than what it's, try to change it.
Now I got to tell you, in my interviews, sometimes a legislator comes up with a good nugget of information. Sometimes they got a little funny story. Do I give you that opportunity? I might be catching you off guard on it.
I've only been here, this is my third year.
Okay.
A special term, I was 9 months. I ran for re-election after the first 9 months, and nothing has happened that, yet to me that.
Exactly. But are you enjoying the process? Are you enjoying being here? Are you enjoy?
I enjoy being here. I just don't enjoy the sitting down time. To me, that wears me out. Mentally, my mind's off trying to do something. I'm thinking of things I should be doing at home.
You like working on stuff.
Yes.
So when you're not doing anything here, it's like too much of a downtime.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Now, when you ran for office, you wanted to be involved. Do you feel like you're making a difference here? Do you feel like this is something that even despite the downtime that you get, do you really feel like you're really making a difference for the people back in your district?
I do. I really do. I mean, they come to me with problems, and I can get them an answer.
Right.
And that's, like I told them, it might be the no answer.
Right.
And y'all might not like it, but I'm going to give you the answer.
Exactly.
And they appreciate that. They really do. They said that, most people dodge them when they come back waiting on the answer.
Yeah.
No, I have to call you, and I say, no, I can't do it. This
Right.
is why, though. And but maybe we can do a little bit this year and maybe a little bit next year.
Right.
And we might can get where you want to go, but I can't just give it all to you.
Yeah, no, and it's funny, I had that conversation last night, as a matter of fact, that if you got legislation that you want X, Y, and Z, sometimes you can't get Y and Z this time. Sometimes you can only get X.
Yeah.
But maybe next year you can get Y, and then after that you can get Z, and it works out sometimes better for the district and the state. But also there's these bills that have these unintended consequences that, I don't get to talk about much on my show, but there's a lot of, sometimes you just have cleanup legislation that is cleaning up somebody's X and Y from another term, and when you enter the Z, you got to get rid of the X and the Y.
That's right.
So, have you experienced much of that since you've been here?
Yes. We've gone down that road. That certain bills have done this in 2012, and now we changing it to take it back out of it because it didn't work. But why did it take us so long to figure out it wasn't working?
Right.
That part I don't understand.
But it's good to know that you, in particular, and the legislative body, is looking out for those bills that had those unintended consequences and are willing to clean it up, to be able to continue the fight for the people of Louisiana.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that.
And like in my district, we rural area, we need broadband the worst of kind. And the federal government's give us 2-point-something billion. But it's been 6 months, it's been a year.
Right.
And we're not, I don't know why we're not
moving.
Yeah.
You ready to make it move?
If we got the money, what's the problem now?
Right.
But we just.
So what is it going to take to make that move?
I don't know. That's what I keep asking. What's it going to take to get it going? Y'all, students in East Feliciana and West.
Right, exactly.
They just don't have the internet service.
Right.
And we're doing this virtual home at school. Well, they handicapped. They can't do it.
So I'm glad to know that you're kind of pushing that along in ways. Now does it matter whether it's wireless or hardwired or?
To me, it don't matter. Let's just do it.
Okay.
When I say it don't matter, let's put it out there and let the public. And I know it's an expense, but we got to get it going one way or the other.
The money's there.
Yeah.
And it's one-time money, right?
It's one-time money.
So did they? So back to our joke a few minutes ago. Is it locked up in a vault somewhere?
I don't know.
And they said, no, you can't have it. It's locked up.
It's up, but we saving it.
Yeah, we're saving it for something else.
But let's do it.
So the powers that be can say, we got you the money to get the broadband, but we're not going to give it to you.
No, we're going to hold it.
We're going to hold it and continually be ranked at a lower rate. So I would love it. I guess to know that you're out there trying to figure, you're out there fighting to find out who that is.
Yeah.
That's hold that money up.
Bring it.
So you can get it out there and help the people in
That's
not only
right.
your district but all of Louisiana.
All the whole state, because we need it. I mean, that's what you hear from rep after rep after rep.
Yeah.
Rural area, my students can't. We're failing the students.
Yeah. When people wonder why we're ranked 50th in the state, this is one of those roadblocks. you know, that keeps us from going up in rankings, you know, when we could have a better ranking just by spending some money on improving on improving broadband or internet or however the case may
whatever
be,
it is,
you know, for those students in those rural areas. Wow.
Yes, I agree wholly. Because you know, if we don't do it, who is going to do it? Next generation. And as you said, where's the $2.6 billion? Where's it at?
Yeah.
Show me something. Education, we throw a lot of money at education, but then they keep telling us we still failing. So money must not be the problem.
Right. What I always like to say is, and I don't think that money is the problem, I think it's how it's spent and other things. When you can look to other states and see what other states are doing the right way, and you can see how states have jumped in rankings based on how they spent their money, either education or whatever. Why can't we as a state or a legislative body say, look what they're doing, let's do
change.
that, you know, let's spend this money, let's do these changes in the right direction.
Well, we had a bill come through the House the other day, and fourth graders, and not picking on fourth graders, but they read it, they said 35% can read at a fourth grade level.
Right.
So we done lost 65% of them. And they said, well, how much money does the federal government, and they give $100 million, they said, for just fourth graders.
Early childhood education.
But just fourth graders. But now they came with this bill and they want an extra $30 million to change it because this isn't working. So I said, well, what are we going to do with the $100 million? Oh, we're going to keep doing it, but we need, no.
Right.
So now we at $130 million and it's not working. Come on.
It's got to be frustrating as a legislator to see these things, and you're trying to, you know, I guess herd cats. At some point.
And so you want to, you know, do for the teachers, you want to do for the students, but whatever we're doing is just coming together.
Right.
So you know,
I'd like to point out to our viewers your frustration.
Yes.
Because it's important to me to point out that you're frustrated with this process, not because, you know, you're throwing your hands in the air, but because it's on your brain to try to make something happen, to do better for our state. And that's the kind of stuff I appreciate.
Last year we had tort reform, and my loggers ate me up. They had a big parade around the Capitol here, 18-wheelers, womp, womp.
Yeah.
And the bill came through and I voted no on it. Well, when I went home, I'm logging area.
Yeah.
Have a bunch of loggers. They ate me up. I can't believe you voted no on that bill. I said, let me show you here. Loggers were not even admitted. They looked at it and said, oh, you're right. I said, I voted no because y'all wasn't in it. I said, let's put them in it.
Right.
They told me we could not put them in it because only 2 companies write loggers in the state of Louisiana, and they were afraid they would pull out if we put them in it. So then they brought it back around again, tort reform. I voted yes. But they said we need 3 years to study it after we pass it to see if it takes effect. Well, it hadn't. Nobody's insurances went down, so we hadn't did anything. We made everybody smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Everybody thought we were doing something, patting us on the back because we voted yes.
Right.
Nothing happened. Insurance rates are going up.
Yeah. All because instead of passing a law and making something work. Or looking what another state did. They kicked the can. Somebody kicked the can down the road, and I'm not calling anybody out.
No.
Yeah, we're not calling anybody out.
No, never.
But because and again, and I don't want to give 1 or 2 people credit, you know, that that don't deserve it, maybe.
Yeah.
But the sentiment when you're working with a whole body of people and if things aren't happening. You know, it's frustrating that things aren't happening for people in Louisiana.
It's aggravating. They say one of our reasons for high insurance rates is uninsured motors. Well, let's do something.
Right.
You know, don't keep talking. When I have to go pay my state form, they ask me, do you want uninsured motors? That should never even be a question on there.
Okay.
Do I want uninsured motors? No, everybody's supposed to have it. It's the law.
Yeah. Wow. So even though it's the law, you can still decline it.
Yeah. Uninsured motors, on your that's not the law that you and I have to have. Uninsured motors, people not insured, is the #1 reason our insurance is so high.
Right.
But when you and I go to get in, or when I go to get insurance, State Farm says, do I want to put uninsured motors? It costs me extra amount.
Right.
You know, I shouldn't have to ever I say, yeah, I want uninsured motors. No, when somebody hits me, they ought to have insurance.
Yeah.
So, lower my bill to $200 a year. Take off uninsured motors.
Yeah.
But I have it on mine just because I know people driving without insurance.
Somebody's not going to have it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't want to be.
Well, I'm just glad to know, even though we haven't given a lot of answers, on some of this stuff, we haven't solved any problems
No, we
today.
haven't solved any.
What I like to point out about this interview before we wrap up is that sometimes, again, you don't get the legislation you want, but the conversation can be as important sometimes. In this case, I'm glad that people got to see your frustration,
yes.
and that, for people at home who are saying, the legislators don't do anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But when they see this video, they're going to realize that a lot of legislators like yourself are frustrated that the process isn't paying off the people of Louisiana, but you're trying to bring it to make people aware of it, to get more people involved.
And one last tidbit before we hang up.
Okay.
I've always heard oil ran Louisiana. During the virus, barrel oil dropped to $23 a barrel, whatever down there. We base our budget on $59 a barrel.
Okay.
We didn't have to cut nothing. Nothing was closed down.
Yeah.
So oil just got back to 60, and I think it's $66 a barrel today.
Right.
So we did pretty good when it was.
Yeah. So there was talk before that our Constitution or our budget should not be based on oil.
That's right.
That it should be based on other things, so that way we have the safeguards in place, in the event that it does drop, or that maybe when it goes up, if our budget's based on other things, there's surplus money to help our state in other ways that we need it.
Yes. Oh, yes. And look, I love the oil people. I drive a car and I put gas in it. I'm not complaining about it, but I'm just saying we got to go keep going.
It's not cutting out the oil people.
No.
It's just finding other things to base our budget off of, so that way we have other safeguards in place to make our state a better place
for everybody.
Financially. It makes it more secure financially.
Yeah.
And the oil people are included.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have a big part of it.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm very pro oil companies. I'm very pro oil companies. And I like to point out that they've done a lot to help our state.
They have,
and they should be included. And I think if we safeguard them in some ways and include them, they're not going to mind having our budget based on other things, because then that helps them too.
Yes.
Help the economy. More people coming to the state. More people buying gas in our state.
That's right. And so that's things we need to change to move us forward, in my mind.
I love it. Representative, it has been awesome talking to you. I thank you
Glad
very
we
much
finally
for all your time. I'm glad
together.
too. Everybody else, as you always know, please, share the video with somebody that you think might have interest in this information. And always, you can check out my podcast at William Wallace, WALLIS for America, on any podcast app, and again on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much, and have a good day, and get a good view of that house lobby in the background. All right. All right, everybody. Have a good day.
All right.
Hang on.
We did.